Imagine you have a dream. You know exactly what you want to do. You have the skills, you have the opportunity, but you still don't do it. Not because you're lazy, not because you're incapable, but because one question keeps playing in your head. What will people think of me? And here's the uncomfortable part. That question might be controlling far more of your life than you realize. Your career, your relationships, your confidence, even the person you're becoming. That's the central idea behind The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. And by the end of this video, you'll understand something that sounds almost backwards. Freedom doesn't mean making everyone like you. Sometimes, freedom means being willing to be disliked. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine Sarah. Sarah wants to leave a job she hates and start something of her own. She thinks she's afraid of failure. But when she gets honest with herself, she realizes something deeper. She's afraid of what failure would look like to everyone else. Her friends might laugh. Her family might question her. Someone might say, "I told you this wouldn't work." So she stays where she is. And this is where the book makes its first uncomfortable argument. A lot of what we call my problems are actually connected to other people's expectations. You're not always afraid of failing. Sometimes you're afraid of what failing will mean about you in someone else's eyes. And once you start living for that audience, your life becomes complicated very quickly. You don't ask, "What do I actually want?" You ask, "What will they think?" The book's answer is surprisingly simple. You need the courage to be disliked. Not because you should become selfish or rude, but because if you try to make everyone approve of you, you'll spend your entire life editing yourself. Here's where the book gets even more provocative. Drawing from Alfred Adler's psychology, it argues that our emotions and behaviors aren't simply random things that happen to us. They can serve a purpose. Think about Sarah again. She says, "I want to start my own business, but I'm too anxious." The obvious response is, of course you're anxious, you're scared of failing. But Adler's perspective asks a different question. What is the anxiety helping you avoid? Because if Sarah stays anxious enough, she never has to risk rejection. She never has to hear no. And she never has to discover whether she could actually succeed. Now, this doesn't mean painful experiences aren't real. They are. It means something more empowering. Your past can influence you without having to dictate your future. You can't rewrite what happened, but you can question the meaning you've built around it. And that changes the question from, "Why am I like this?" to, "What am I going to do with who I am now?" Now we reach the trap almost everyone falls into. You start measuring your worth through other people's reactions. Did they like what I said? Did they approve? Did they notice what I did? Did they appreciate me? And the problem is, you can never win that game because other people's expectations aren't under your control. You can be kind and someone will still call you selfish. You can be successful and someone will still think you're arrogant. You can do everything right and someone will still dislike you. So what happens? You start changing yourself to keep everyone happy. And eventually, you've built a prison and called it self-awareness. There's another problem. Approval can turn relationships into transactions. You help someone and secretly expect something back. You support a friend and feel betrayed when they don't return the favor. You give, but somewhere in your mind, you're keeping score. That's not genuine contribution. That's a transaction wearing a disguise. And the moment you stop keeping score, relationships become much lighter. So what do you actually do? The book offers a powerful shift. Instead of constantly asking, "Do people like me?" ask, "Am I contributing something valuable?" At work, stop obsessing over, "Do they think I'm impressive?" Ask, "What useful thing can I contribute here?" In relationships, stop asking, "Do they appreciate everything I do?" Ask, "Am I helping because I genuinely want to or because I'm expecting something back?" And in your own life, stop asking, "Will people approve of this choice?" Ask, "Is this actually the life I want to live?" That's the shift. You stop living as a performer and start living as a participant. And something strange happens. The less you need recognition, the more freely you can contribute. You don't need applause to know you're valuable. You don't need everyone's approval to know you're moving in the right direction. Here's the hard truth. Some people will never like you, no matter how kind you are, no matter how successful you become, no matter how carefully you explain yourself. And that's not a failure. That's freedom. Because once you accept that you cannot control everyone's opinion, you finally get your energy back. You can build the career you actually want, choose the relationships that actually matter, and become the person you've been afraid to become. So here's the question: what would you do differently today if you knew you didn't need everyone's approval? Think about that, because maybe the life you're waiting for doesn't require everyone to understand you. Maybe it just requires you to stop asking for permission. If you want more books broken down into ideas you can actually use in real life, subscribe, because sometimes one idea can change the way you see everything.